friends, it's Josie and welcome back to my channel. So I'm needing to clear out a little bit of freezer space so I can start doing my meal preps and things like that. So I thought I would go ahead and start canning up some of this meat that I have in the freezer. It's a great option because I can can it, I can put it as shelf stable and still be able to use it without it going bad or anything like that, and it gives me some more space in my freezer. So we are going to be doing ground beef. So with ground beef, you can do it raw if you wanted to do that, but I believe the safe method is partially cooking it. So I'm going to go ahead and cook it, the ground beef, right now. And then I'm also going to raw pack some, I think some beef stew meat, I think is what I'm going to do, just a couple of packages of that to get that out of my freezer as well. And then I will show you this whole process. I am by no means an expert or anything like that. But you know, you need to do your own research and figure out how to do this on your own because I'm no expert. So let me get this ground beef out of the refrigerator and we will start browning it. But I do want to work with everything when it is cooled down. So I'm just going to go ahead and cook this, drain it, and then I'm going to start letting it cool down before I start actually pressure canning it. I also wanted to tell you before I get that out of the fridge that with meat, when canning meat, you do want to pressure can it. You do not want to water bath can it. Water bath canning is more for acidic foods and things like that. Pressure canning is for all the rest. Because you know you want it to be safe and have that safe method. If you don't know much about the difference between water bath canning or pressure canning, then go ahead and look that up on Google or YouTube, and there's so many books about it that you can read as well. But that's just a little tip for y'all to know that you cannot water bath can meat. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start letting my pot heat up while I'm getting all of this meat in here, so it can get a little bit of a jump start to that. And when you're pressure canning, when you pressure can ground beef, you can use this as like in tacos. You can use it in like sloppy joe. You can use it in soups. It's really good for soups if you want to make a soup. All kinds of stuff like that. But I would recommend that if you are going to use this for like tacos, to go ahead and ground it some more like in a pot and let it brown. Is what I would do, just to make sure you get that right texture that you're looking for, because it will be slightly different. And we always want to try to get stuff that is as similar as possible so that we will end up using it instead of letting it waste in the pantry. I can get one more package in here, so we will try to do that. So now before I do anything to this, I'm going to go wash my hands, and then I will come back and work with it. So when chopping up my ground beef, I like to use this meat masher, and then I also might alternate with this wooden spoon. Just depends on how hard it is. This meat masher that I have, I've had it for a while, but it doesn't really seem to be that strong. I need to get a new one, but I haven't yet. Yeah, I think the wood spoon does a lot better with this. So I'm going to continue to let this cook down, and we are just going to brown it. I mean, you know, let it get cooked mostly, but I won't add like no brown pieces to it or anything. We're just going to cook it up, just right till it's cooked, and then we'll start letting it cool, and then move on. I think I might have a little bit more ground beef that I want to do, and then we will go from there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to transfer this into the strainer, and then all the grease is going to fall down, and then I'm going to put the meat in this pan that I have next to me. Whoops, making a mess already. So that I can drain the grease out. And then we are going to use water to pack these in the jars. We're going to use water because the reason why I'm going to use water is because for one, I don't want to use beef broth, because I feel like it's a waste of my beef broth. And also with the water, it will just do the same thing. It'll be fine, and it won't make your meat taste different or anything like that. Just a safe option to use. I'm not putting any spices or anything in here because I don't know what I'll be doing to cook, like what I'll be using it for to cook with. So we are just making it simple, easy to have room in our freezers. So I'm just going to continue to do this, and when I get done with this step, I will bring you right back. I do still have a couple more packages that I'm wanting to ground up, so we are going to go ahead and get this going while our other meat that we took out is trying to cool off, so we can be as proficient with time as possible, or efficient with time as possible. I could have used a bigger stock pot, but this was hard enough, and it worked out enough in itself with this pot, and my other pot is like 2 times bigger, so I'm glad I went with this one. And these packages are 2 pounds a piece. So we're doing quite a bit of meat, and we still have a ton in our freezer. So now we are just going to do the same process with this, get it cooked up so that we can start letting it cool, and then we will be able to move on to the next step. So of course, whenever I do anything, I always make a mess, and I always have a mess. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean this mess up while that meat is cooking, so I don't have to worry about it later. One thing you need to learn, if you don't want to stay all day in the kitchen, clean as you go. because it makes a world of difference. And I'm gonna run over this one more time. And now that part is clean. So now I'm going to try to see if I can find some jars to start putting this stuff in, so I can go ahead and wash the jars and see what all I need. If I don't have enough, so then I can run to the store. So let me see. I know I'll need my funnel and my little jar grabber. I got these size. I think that might be a little bit too small. So maybe for us, maybe I can use these pint jars. And then they're brand new, and then I don't have to worry about getting new lids. And yeah, so I think that might work. And it looks like I got a couple of quarts down here too that are new. Let me see. No, they don't have lids. So I think we're going to try to see what we can do with these pint jars and then go from there. Also, I have my pressure canner right here too. So I'm going to go ahead and get that out. And then we are good to go. We're just still waiting on our meat to get done. So now we are just going to start filling these up with our meat. I still have my other meat over here that's still trying to get done. And with this, you also want to try to pack it down, because we want as much meat in here as we can get. We want about a 1-inch headspace, especially when we top it off with our water. That is what we're going to want. And it is just literally this simple, you guys. Or I might not have enough jars. How it's looking. But I also, this week, going to be making tacos, so I can use some of this meat for that. But we are just going to continue to do this. And then before I get ready to add water to our jars, then I will bring y'all back, just so you can see what I'm doing, and we can go from there. So now we are going to start adding water to these. So it's just as simple as adding water and letting it reach the headspace, which is an inch. And then we are going to debubble this so that all the air bubbles can come up. And then we will top it off with more water, just until it gets to that 1 inch. And then we will set that to the side, and we will continue to do this until we have done all of them. And I am going to need more jars, so I'm just going to go ahead and can what I can, and then whenever it stops, I can go run down to the store and get some jars. This one could have some more meat in it. And with these, you want to make sure that you clean your rims off really, really well, because if not, then it can not become sealed because this is kind of greasy. So you want to make sure that you get those cleaned really well. So now for cleaning my rims on my jar, I don't have vinegar, so I looked it up and it says that you can use some soapy water with a clean paper towel as long as the water is hot. So we are doing that right now. So we can have a clean seal. Because we most definitely did not do all this work for nothing. But I would suggest you to keep vinegar on hand if you can, because it can help cut that grease out as well. And I just, would rather prefer that. But I have recently moved, so I'm still trying to figure out what everything that I don't have is, and then I'm making a grocery list as I go. Because just some things you just don't think about until it's time to need it. Okay, so now we are just going to put our lid and rings on these, and then we are going to finger tight our rings. We do not want it too terribly tight. Finger tight. And I'm going to start putting them in my canner. I already filled it up to where it needs to be. And then with these, you want to can them on 10, where I am, you want to can them for 75 minutes at 10 pounds so that they will be done for the pints. If you're doing quarts, then for quarts, you want to do 90 minutes. Which I think from the store, whenever I go and get more jars, I think I will probably get quarts, just for like a space saver, mainly. remember how many jars I can fit in there. I have 7. I thought it was 7, but it might be 9. So I'm going to go ahead and finish these and put these in there as well. So I guess it can fit 9. So now we are going to start pressure canning these. I'm not going to show y'all that process just because that's not what this video is about. We're just pressure canning our beef. But there's tons of videos and stuff like that that you can see that shows you how to use your pressure canner. But I'm going to go ahead and get mine started because we got 75 minutes to go. And then I still have meat I need to get in jars and stuff. So I want to start this process as soon as possible so I can go get more jars and be able to come back and do some more. Okay friends, so it's the next day and we have gotten all of our jars of ground beef done. They are all done and they are looking good. So we were able to get 5 quart jars because last night I went to go get some quart jars so we could finish those. And actually just took those ones out of the canner. And then we got 9 of the pint-sized jars that we have as well. So they are here, right here. And I'm so happy that I'm going to be having these on my shelf. So now all I have to do is just grab it and, you know, do whatever I'm wanting to put it in, just dump it in without having to worry about messing up my stove or anything like that. So I'm really happy about that. But yeah, that's one thing that has been accomplished and I'm so happy. Another thing that I'm wanting to start doing is like maybe once a month get like something in bulk, like from Azure, that is good quality organic foods like carrots or something that I'm not going to be growing in my garden so that I can preserve it, can it, or whatever I decide to do with it so I can start having, like building that pantry stable items instead of, you know, just buying it from the store. I can do that, but I think that trying to do it once a month will be beneficial because, you know, it takes time to build a pantry and I would be doing it in bulk. I'd be doing large quantities. So that's something I've been thinking about doing. So I'm thinking about doing that, of course, but we will see what happens. But this is it for this video, you guys. I hope you liked it. I hope you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.